welcome everybody to the second hour of Mind Shifters Radio. And today is Thursday, May the 13th, 2021. And our call-in number is 563-999-3581 and press 1, and that puts you into queue to talk to us. And as I always say, we'd love to hear your comments and questions because that makes this your show. And I am having some success in getting the MP4s ready, and they are just audios, but they have to be in an MP4 format to go up on Vimeo. And so I think I've got 10 of them completed right now and ready to load and to send to people. I've got a couple of people who have bought a full package, so I'm sending them as I get them done, and we hope that you enjoy them. So that has been a little bit of a challenge, but we're getting there. So thank you for holding the space and being patient. If you're one of the ones that has bought a set, thanks for being patient to get them to you. We've got one, the Pyramid Prophecy, which is messing up big time, and if we can't get a different copy to turn digital, then I guess we'll have to replace that one with something else, because the one that we've got here, you can hear about 30 minutes of it pretty clear, and then it just really goes bonkers. So that one we may have to replace. But we're working on trying to find somebody who has a previous copy that's in the cassette tapes so that we can convert it over. So hopefully we'll get that done. And we'd love to hear your questions. I am going to walk in here and make sure, see what's going on. I don't see Michael on the switchboard. So let me make sure there's nothing happening on the technology end for him. Okay, he's dialing in, so we'll give him just another moment on that. So, 563-999-3581 and press 1. What's your comment and question? Oh, I see a hand up, so I'm going to go ahead and click area code 828. You are on the air. Who do we have? Hi. 828, you're on the air. Hello. Well, maybe there is some technical difficulty going on. 828, your microphone's on. All right, then I will go to 541. You're in the air.
Hi. I decided to see if the technical difficulty was as far-reaching as the West Coast.
Oh. So at least you got in and I'm in.
Yeah. But I just dialed in shortly ago, rather like maybe 2 minutes ago. So maybe the earlier ones are having a harder time.
I think it's actually Magda on the other line, so I don't know. Yeah. But well, thank you for checking with me, so I know that it's working.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Well, I'll hang up. Yeah. Okay. I'll stay on, but just offline with you. Okay.
All right,
take care.
Thanks. Mm-hmm. Welcome, Michael.
I had to dial back in again. Are we having more technical difficulties today?
Well, when you didn't come on, I thought maybe we did, and then Magda had put her hand up, and I announced her number a couple of times, and she didn't answer, so I thought, well, maybe we are having some issues. But Julie called in, and hers came through just fine. So anyway, well, I'll try Magda's again here. Magda, are you with us yet? Hello?
Hello, Magdalena.
Unmute.
Are you in charge, Magda?
All right. Well, Michael, I'll welcome you to the show, and we'll just get started that way.
Technology, what fun. We'll check back in with Magdalena, maybe send her a text and tell her we tried, and maybe we finish reading from Why Is This Happening to Me Again? She'll be available to carry forward that conversation. welcome, everybody. Delighted that you're here as we move this amazing conversation forward, one that I'm certainly appreciative of being able to carry on with you, and appreciate you lending your ears to be part of taking this energy out to all corners of the earth. And when you realize that everything is energy, just a listening ear brings the frequency of this work farther and farther afield on a global scale. And what we're looking to do, ultimately, so that it becomes universally available, is build it to critical mass. Now, there was this physicist 2,000 years ago that said, a little leavening leavens the whole loaf. And I think we can rest assured he was not talking about bread. He was talking about the fact that we live in an energy system. The man was a physicist, understood exactly how this energy system works. And the leavening is the critical mass, that when the higher energy of human beingness, of human life, of the active presence of love, becomes embedded enough, powerfully enough in the energy field of the earth, then it will become available from the inside. It won't be that somebody will have to hear it with their ears, but from the inside, that energetic pattern of truth will become available. And so we're engaged and have been for many decades now, and doing everything we can to make this available on a global scale. So we're honored that you're lending your ears. That gentleman said, friends, Romans, and countrymen, lend me your ears. He knew what he was talking about with the energy system of life. So we're having a conversation with Richard, and he's been a little bit perturbed by the fact that, he started out not believing anything I had to say, started to build some brain cells, started to get it, and then all of a sudden found himself losing awareness of what a few minutes before he was starting to understand, and was kind of confused and putting himself down. We've been acknowledging him for the fact that it is a process, and he's right on track, even though at the moment he's lost some of the principles. And so we're here to engage in that conversation, to expand it out. And that we're on is Chapter 11, Processing and Going Unconscious. And if you're following us in the book, we're on page 65, if you want to open to 65. Again, if you don't have a copy of the book, jump on Amazon, jump on eBay, and you'll find copies there, usually, for sale, used. Book is out of print. I'm looking at whether or not we want to go back in and reprint it. I've done some editing and changing of it. Actually, the latest copy of the book is not in print as yet. It is recorded. There is a recording of the book that you can buy on our website. The website is whyagain.org. And so the newest version of the book is there recorded. If you look in the upper right-hand corner of our home page, you'll see a link that says MP4s. You click that link, the last item on that page is the recording of the book. Why is this happening to me? Again, that is the latest version that is available at this point. And so you can purchase that, or you can go to our website and just download it free. It is not the latest version, but a copy of the printed version is available. And I don't know how many languages: English, German, Russian, Spanish, Swedish. No, pardon me, Swedish is only available for purchase because the Swedish publisher wouldn't allow us to put it on the website free, which is what we've done with all our other translations, including English. So you can get the book free there, and we're looking to make it available. So I'm in this conversation with Richard and informing him that it's a process, it takes time, and he's asked the question, do I have to go dig through and re-experience everything in my past? I don't want to do that. And the objective of this work is not to dig through your past. There's that old model of lay on the couch for 25 years and then you find the deep, dark, dirty thing that happened to you and then you're finished with your work. That's not the objective of this work. We're not asking you to dig through anything. We're just asking you to live as your essence love, 24/7, 365. And when you can't, apply the forgiveness process, and the forgiveness process will empower you or support your empowerment in touching into what's the next level, what's the next piece of work for you to do. And so I answer Richard and say, no, there's no digging around required. If you get good at re-experiencing your past, that's what you'll get good at, re-experiencing your past. The practice with these tools is to hold a space of love within yourself and live in today's world from that perspective. If something less than love surfaces at any time, use the tools. As you do this, things from your past that impact your present perception will surface and be healed. So if something's surfacing that's based in hostility or fear, if you apply the forgiveness process, what happens is the perception of the moment, the pain perception, collapses. And when it collapses, it gives you access to the underlying issue, the next piece of your work that needs to be done. You can only deal with and heal your reality structure in the process. And I've noticed here that Richard's not breathing, so I asked him the question, are you breathing, Richard? Breathing? Why do you keep bugging me about breathing? What's the big deal? Cried angrily. Hey, I'm on your side, remember? I'm here to support your healing. Recall when we spoke about how pain gets locked in with your reality? Holding your breath causes feelings and events to be linked and stored as a unit. The energy of an experience you're having is suppressed into tissue when the breath is held. Rather than staying stuck and upset, if you breathe, it's easier for old patterns to break loose and distasteful present moment experiences to pass. Is the switch that either restricts or allows energy to move in your system. Keep your breath open, makes healing much easier. So when you're rolling along, if you just become an observer of your breath, whenever the breath is being held, there's an energy being locked in tissue. And so it's just a warning signal. If you just observe yourself, where you're holding your breath is an indicator, oh, here's where there's a piece of work to be done. And so the key thought offered here is every day it's the same old thing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Yeah, and when you're restricting your breath, even slightly, there's an indicator that there's a piece of work to be done. So rather than searching through a deep, dark past, just live in your breath. Live aware of your breath. And where your breath is being restricted, do your work. Just tap in and observe what's being hidden by the holding of the breath. Take a breath and it will uncover the next layer of work you need to do. So that's the idea of breathing. Another tool, just awareness of breath is such a key. And, there's a process that we do that we teach in our intensives where we step into a connected breathing process called still point breathing that just opens and dumps so much of what needs to be moved. And we're here to hold the space for everything in your life. And of course, as we talk about everything in your life, we're talking about ourselves too. We're included in the process. We're not pretending to be any different than anybody else. We've perhaps been at this a little longer than you, and so maybe we can help and guide you, but we are in this together, and it's about each of us doing the work. And the work is that of literally, when there's something that is unlike love moving in us, learning to access the root of that which is moving, bringing it forward in the presence of love, and dissolving it. It's a real key in the healing process. In fact, it's the core of the healing process. I can remember back a couple of decades or more ago that, having observed over many years, people with things that would seem to be unhealable, things that just could never be really shifted or changed. And wondering, why is it that I work with someone and I see this magnificent change? And I don't care whether it's physical, mental, emotional, relational, financial healing. I mean, things that are really serious things going on. And watching them shift. And other times where people seem to want to heal, but somehow or other it just never moves for them. And in looking and wondering and asking, I was then shown, here it is. In order for healing to occur, two things have to happen. You remember in the ancient teachings, they said the veil of the temple must be rent in twain. Then we're not talking about a purple curtain in a church. The veil of the temple is the barrier between the subconscious and the unconscious mind. When they said the veil of the temple must be rent in twain, what they were saying was that veil has to be opened. The veil is built by holding the breath. The veil is opened by breathing. And so what's the bottom line in healing? Two things have to occur. One, love must be conscious, active, and present. And when I'm talking about love, I'm not talking about the mushy, I love you kind of stuff. I'm not talking about fake love, approval. I'm talking about the presence of human life, the presence of our created essence, love, being present, and the veil, the barrier, again, between the subconscious and the unconscious, needs to open so that something that's been hidden under the surface is allowed to come forward. And whatever comes forward in the presence of active love dissolves. It's done. And so that's what we mean when we're talking about healing. My observation, my offering is, I've never seen anybody holding their breath that's healed anything. I've never seen anybody unconscious and unaware of their breath, locking things down with the breath and working through anything. There can be a pretense of it, but here what we're talking about is shifting the energy within us that brings about our repeated or our why is this happening to me again experiences. When I bring the root of what's at my why is this happening to me again experience, when I bring the root of that thing that I, so many times I've said, why the heck is this going on? What's going on here that here I am back in this boat again? What shifts that? What changes that? Whatever is hidden under the breath is allowed to open, and love is present. When those two things occur, healing occurs. And that which is less than love, conscious, active, present love. That's what we're here to support. That's what we're here to bring forward. That's what we're here to have people understand and really, truly bring into expression. And so we're honored to be sharing this information with you. And Miss Jeannie, do we have anybody out there with a hand up in the phone queue or anything happening in the chat room? Is Miss Magdalena back with us?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Martha,
let's say hello to the young lady.
Hi there. Now can you hear me?
You're loud and clear. Welcome.
Oh, good. I don't know what happened before, but it was weird. So anyway, I just called because I had this idea that might work. Jeannie and you were saying you're looking for a certain tape. We do not have tape recordings, reel-to-reel tapes. We have videotape, and I'm not sure if what you're looking for might be on one of them. And this is all of the videos. Go ahead.
No, this is actually a cassette tape. It was a series that Michael did called Stepping Beyond. That was a lot of them come out of the Course in Miracles. And so it's tape 25 that's about the pyramid prophecy. Yeah, so that's the one that we may have to replace with something else if somebody doesn't come up with it. But thank you.
Okay. Well, another thought I have, and I have no idea if we should just throw them away if anyone's using videotapes these days or not. But before doing anything with them, I wanted to ask you if you have a need for them or think anyone else might.
Are you talking about tapes of our previous workshops and such?
Like VHS tapes?
These VHS. These are that's before you transferred them onto DVDs. These were all of the variety.
There is one that, if you happen to have it, our company that did our mastering and such had lost, and it was a Sunday service that I used to do that was called Where is the Love? If you've got a copy of Where is the Love, I would love to have it.
Okay,
if that happens to be one of the ones you have.
I need to write that down because I'm out in the garden right now. Where is the love?
I'll text it to you. I'll send you a text. Idea. That'll work.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
If you've got that one, for some reason or other, the folks who kept our library for us somehow or other disappeared that one, and I would love to get it back again.
Very good. Okay. And in terms of the rest of them, should we just chuck them out?
Well, we could put it out if there's anybody that's listening that would like. If Magda has some of the VHS tapes from our workshops, we've had those all remastered and transferred over to DVD and CD, or well, actually now they're online in streaming service. But if somebody would like to have those VHS, drop a note to Jeannie, JEANIE @WHYagain.org, and we'll let you know. And there you go. Magda's willing to donate them. Cool.
Who knows? I'm thinking nobody's using VHS anymore, but who knows? These are actually checks, and there's quite a big box of them, so maybe it's in there.
Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. I walked in to write that down. Where is the Love? Is that the name of it?
Where is the Love? Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I walked in and I didn't do it. I'm walking back out, but here we go. Where is the Love? Okay, very good. I will listen and send my love to you guys.
Okay. How is the listening to responsibility communication going for you?
Guess who isn't doing it?
Still avoiding, eh?
We have company right now, so I'm using that as my excuse. And
I see. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good. Good excuse. But I am clearly ready to do it, and that's very good. That my energy has changed toward my attitude of doing it is instead of fear about what will I find out. It's like, oh, what will I find out? Yeah.
Cool.
So,
well, I was hoping perhaps you had done it, and I was thinking we might schedule a session for Sunday afternoon as one of the bonus sessions for the Codependence to Interdependence Communication Practice Intensive. But maybe we could set it up now to do it a week from Sunday, if you feel like you would get.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then we'll also put an invitation out to everybody to watch. Yes.
A week from Sunday, you're going to be in Lexington.
Oh, that's right. Let's let's make it 2 weeks from Sunday.
2 weeks, very good. Yeah, that will certainly give me enough time, because our company will be leaving on Sunday, and that'll give me enough time to dig into it and have some fun with it, and we'll see what happens after that, right?
Cool. And we'll invite everybody else to give it a listen between now and then and develop questions so that we can really do a really awesome job of getting a 2-hour follow-up on that original 2-hour magnificent session that you did, and have that as a bonus as part of the self-study package for the future. Cool.
It's
so that'll be May the 30th.
May 30th. Okay. I'm just going to make those comments before I put myself on mute. You say magnificent, and I go, oh, I thought it was terrible. I didn't do very well. So there's a lot of judgment, self-judgment here, and so I have a lot to learn from this. It'll be great.
Well, for me, Magda, when I say magnificent, I feel like you were really the catalyst for opening such a deep level of the responsibility communication tools. The fact that it's been your favorite tool for so long, and that our conversation was able to go to the depth that it did. To me, it's one of the crown jewels in the work at this point. So I'm appreciative of the work you've done in that regard, and the conversation you're a catalyst for opening, because that's what gets things to move at depth for people. And so that's why I'm hoping that everyone in the intensive will re-listen to it and really clarify their questions, have the questions answered, and then we'll do a 2-hour session on the 30th and
good.
Get the understanding to a whole new level for everyone, including me. I mean, that the responsibility communication worksheet is one that I have not changed in years, and there are changes coming to it as a result of that conversation with you. So I consider that to be really a powerful contribution, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And now that we talk about it, I realize that if I had done it perfectly, notice one of my favorite words, perfectly, that there would not have been an example to get, of how to go awry with it, and how to reform the questions and the comments. And so that was all made available by my wonderful imperfection. Cool.
Well, I think it goes further than that. For me, it went to the level of your insight to it, and the fact that when, let's say, what you might refer to as your imperfection was brought forward, the conversation that ensued opened a new level of clarity around many, many points, and that's what to me it's all about. So that's why I consider it really, truly to be one of the crown jewels in the work that we're doing. It's pretty awesome.
How cool.
That is great. I appreciate it.
Quite different. I'm feeling quite different about it now, so thank you for continuing the conversation with it.
It's like if we enter into a conversation with somebody that's new to, say, a tool like that, then we go, well, A is A, and B and C is C, and D is D. Okay, well, thank you, bye. But we didn't do that. We did A. Well, what about A1? What about A2? Well, what about then when we got to B? It was, well, how do we clarify? To me, that was what made it really valuable.
Clarify, and the other thing I got so far, just from having had the experience and not going back yet, but clarify and simplify. That was so potent. Simplify. What is it you really want? What is it you're experiencing in the simplest version of everything?
Yes.
Yeah.
And significant changes, subtle, but still significant changes are going to happen in the worksheet, the instruction sheet itself, as a result of our interaction. And that, to me, is what makes it most valuable. It was anything but plain vanilla. So
All right. Wonderful.
Cool.
Good.
All right, young lady, we appreciate you.
Indeed, and I appreciate you and cherish our relationship together. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a text from someone, and they were like, Chuck's going to be part of this one this time too, isn't he?
I'm going to force him to, yes. No, I imagine.
Right. I want to see this. I want to see you force Chuck to do something. Good luck.
Right. It was a yoke. I expected him to be, and so I'm gathering that someone else would like that as well.
Yes, they want him to.
Yes. They
Very
definitely
good.
want him to be part of it. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Blessings.
Blessings to you all. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So I'm getting ready to post that in the codependence group. What time frame on that Sunday? What time
let's
works
go
for
with,
Peter?
I think 2 o'clock, 2 to 4, and I think he's 6 hours behind us. And Peter, let us know if earlier is better. But I think 2 to 4, which would make it 8 to 10 for him in Sweden. And again, if you happen to be listening, Peter, we'll get a note out to you if it needs to be earlier. Let us know, and we'll set that up. Cool. Lots of noise in the background. Sounds like typing fingers flying. Maybe you can mute there, Jeannie, while you're doing that. Yeah, it just comes through on top of everything. Sweet. Well, Miss Jeannie, do we have anybody else out there with a hand up in the phone queue or anything happening in the chat room?
Nope, it is all quiet.
Well, let's invite somebody to.
Michael, I just got a text that says that's Memorial Weekend, so that might be an issue for some people because they'll do the whole
Memorial
weekend.
Day.
And we ran into that with Easter, so.
Yeah, that's also our wedding anniversary.
Yep, it is.
Okay, well, let's go for the next week then. Let's put it off one more week into June, whatever that would be.
Okay, that'd be June the 6th. Thank you, Julie, for reminding me of that. Yeah, because we ran into people having issues being part of it on Easter weekend. So
June 6th, that works.
Okay.
Cool. Sweet. And let's plan. In fact, Jeannie, while we're doing it now, let's make June 6th the session with Magda on the responsibility communication. Let's remind everybody to really give a listen and write down their questions on the process and refinement so that we can really create a really precise completion of that. And then let's make the following weekend the bonus session on the Power Person worksheet. So that will complete the extra 4 hours that'll become part of the self-study intensive. So.
Okay. So that's
cool.
June the 6th and June the 13th.
13th, yeah. Sweet. Awesome. All right, well, if you're out there in listener land, what's on your mind? How can we support you? If you're on one of those stations where we can't see you in our control panel, the call-in number is 563-999-3581. If you call that number, you'll be listening to the show. And then if you have a question for us, if you push 1, that raises hand in the control panel. Jeannie will know you have a question for us, and we'll be having a conversation. So how can we support you? What's on your mind with these tools? And so please, everybody, don't all raise your hands at once. But if you're out there for the question, we're at about the halfway point, a little better than halfway through the show. So we've got 27 minutes left for conversation. And let's have a conversation. You know, our responsibility communication tool, you know, in essence, the core of responsibility communication is that, let's see, best way to say this. When you realize that perception is a construct of the mind, You know, the world that you think you see out there is not out there. I mean, I'm talking science now. I'm not talking theory. I'm not talking, you know, we're looking at the fact of how the mind works. You know, we've been taught, and virtually everybody on the planet believes, I have eyes and I see. See, I saw that out there. You know, you've never, ever in your life seen anything outside of you through your eyes, because your eyes are not a set of windows. They're not something you look out through to see what's going on. The eye is a receiver. It's an antenna. It works with frequencies of light, just like a TV antenna works with frequencies that are UHF or VHF frequencies. It's a receiver. The receiver doesn't send. You don't look out through the receiver. You receive with the receiver. So light frequencies come into your eye. Those light frequencies cause resonance in the brain, in the body. That is the storage system. I should say perhaps more correctly, the mind, which functions throughout every cell in the structure. So when information resonates in response to light, your perceptual system constructs literally. Now, I'm not talking figuratively or metaphorically. I'm talking absolutely, totally, completely, 1,000% literally. Your mind generates a construct called perception. It's interesting. The Course in Miracles says that that construct is a skill made up by you to take the place of what the Creator gave you in creation. In other words, there's an actuality. There's something that's actually going on, but your perceptual system makes a cover for it. The Course refers to it as a dense cover that we lay over the world of the Creator. So perception constructs the world that you see. And so the average person uses totally, completely projection communication. If a picture shows up in somebody's mind of someone doing a particular behavior, then projection communication, let's say that the behavior that my brain shows me that you're doing, I find upsetting. So I will say, using projection communication, and when you did thus and so, that really made me mad. Now, that's what we call projection communication. I did not see you doing something, and what you did, certainly, even if you had done it, is not what made me mad. What made me mad is there's mad inside of me. If there is no mad inside of me, then there is no mad to be expressed. Pained perception comes from pained content. But if I have pained content and I live in a standard world, then I project that content into my brain's image of you, and I say, and when you did that, you made me so mad. I'm now in projection communication. In responsibility communication, that gets turned around. And I actually describe the perceptual construct of my mind as though I'm aware that it's a construct of my mind. It's not what happened out there, but it's a construct that's going on inside of me. So now we're talking about responsibility communication. And when I use words that reflect that I'm aware that I'm talking about the constructs of my mind rather than talking about you, then everything changes. Because all of a sudden, I've given up the lie that my perception, the construct of my mind, is what happened out there. Because it's not. It's what happened in here. And when I language with the awareness, I know that I'm describing what happened in here rather than the belief and the lie that it was out there, then I get to come closer and closer and closer to realizing the falsity of many of the constructs my mind shows me. And when I do that, I get to start changing them. And when two people do that, when two people actually are conscious enough to live in responsibility communication, then there's a magical thing that happens there. And that is that the underlying pained parts of our perceptual system start to surface in the presence of truth and begin to dissolve. That dissolution process is called forgiveness. It is the master key to removing pain. And so that's what we're here to help people to understand. And there's a very simple marker that will tell you infallibly, absolutely, totally, and completely infallibly tell you when you're in projection communication. And that is that there's some form of hostility or fear that has subtly integrated itself into your perception. And the way that you get to access the hidden parts of your mind is when you really, truly start to language like you know that the perceptual construct of your mind is about you and that it's yours. And when you start to describe it truthfully, when you exit the lie and you start to tell the truth, then there is the space where actual love shows up. And as it does, everything changes. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about responsibility communication. It's an awesome tool. If you go to the website and you look under, if you go to the home page, there's a link that says worksheets to download. If you click that worksheets to download link, look at the list. Now, there are dozens of worksheets in there. Go down the list and look for the word communication. If you're in a browser and you go up to the menu in the browser, there'll be a find on this page. Just put in the word communication, and it will take you to a worksheet that gives us 7 steps of responsibility communication. We broke it down to 7 key steps. There is, if you want to investigate further, when you're not part of the intensive, of course, you can always sign up for the self-study intensive package that will come out of this. There are going to be 80-plus hours of video in that, and that will include the session that we're talking about that we did with Magda and the additional session, along with all the other why is this happening to me again and healing through relationships and communication work. But you can also go to, on the home page in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see MP4 downloads. If you click there, you'll see a workshop called Communication. Did you hear what I think I said? It's a 2-hour video. And if you choose to, you can purchase that download. Downloads of our 2-hour workshops are $20, by the way. And so you can go ahead and dig into that particular piece of work if you so choose.
They're not downloads, babe. They're streaming.
Or pardon me, streaming. Yeah, excuse me, my misuse of language. Yes, they are not downloadable, but once you purchase them, they're permanently yours, available for streaming. Thank you for that reminder, sweetie. Keep me on track. You do such a great job of that. All right, so we're down to about 17, 16 minutes. So If you're out there in listener land and you have a question or a thought for us, if you push 1, that'll raise a hand in the phone queue, and Jean will invite you to have a conversation with us. How can we support you? And if we have no questions, if it's all so simple, straightforward, and clear, then we can complete the show. If nobody's out there with a thought for us or a question. This is a section of the show that's about questions and answers. And so if we're complete and nobody has any questions.
I'm not sure if she pressed 1 again, but the switchboard kind of flickered. So, Julie, I'm turning your mic back on.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hey there, Miss Julie. You are loud and clear. How are you, young lady, out there in the far west coast?
Well, I had my phone in my pocket, and I guess I somehow came on to you again. So, hey, I'm on the West Coast. I'm in one house and out of it and into another, still moving. And lots of allergies going on now. I'm moving to a new place, so the neighborhood has different kinds of pollens, I guess, and it's affecting me a little. But, I always get through hay fever season. But I'm not here to talk about my organ. I didn't really press 1. My pocket did.
Oh, okay. It was a butt press. Okay, well, we can let that go.
Yeah.
Unless you have a question or a thought for us.
No. I'm doing really well. I just feel like I'm moving along pretty well in life.
That's awesome.
And, and I really missed the Avicen. I sent mine to George, and so I'm going to be talking to him about, he's had it for a month, so is he happy with it, and does he want one of his own, that kind of thing. And, because I miss it. I like just, what part of it is just actually sitting down and doing nothing. Letting my blood circulate.
And also, and what happens when you do that is, especially if you live in a sympathetic dominant state. And a sympathetic dominant state is where muscles are tense, contracted, restriction of microcirculation occurs. It's the fight, fright, freeze mechanism. Yeah. And what happens when you put your hand in the Avicen is it shifts into the parasympathetic state, where literally the capillary, the muscle fibers at the head of each of 60 billion capillaries soften, relax, and open, and you go into parasympathetic dominance, which is a level of softening and relaxation that a lot of people never even visit in their lives. So just spending 30 minutes doing that a couple, 3 times a day is awesome. And one of the things I get to do, in fact, if I lift the machine up and I bring it close to my microphone, you'll hear that running in the background, is when I do the show, I have my hand in it, every day. And it's a really sweet space to be in physiologically. And so I understand what you're saying.
It brings up a question. When I started out, I did 10 minutes or 15 minutes twice a day. And then I extended that to 15 and 20. And, so George, he just jumped right in, and he was doing 6 or 8 times a day. And I haven't heard a report from him. He says it's hard for him to notice what's going on, but he likes it. But is that too much to start with? I feel like I'm not really regulating him, like maybe I should be.
Well, I had a conversation with him in the first day or 2 that he had it, and we did talk about him breaking in slowly. And I think, I understood he did that. He didn't just jump in that deeply. And we do suggest if people start to use it, that they start 10 minutes twice a day. Then if that works, go to 15, go to 20, go to 25, go to 30. And only because if people are toxic, and they jump in too quickly, doing too much of it, it can tend to create an emergency type detox which isn't necessarily comfortable. And so we suggest people ease into it comfortably rather than pushing themselves. But once you've gone through that easing in process, then, doing at least an hour a day, 30 minutes twice or more is quite desirable.
Yeah.
It was interesting. Yeah. There's a friend up in Lansing, Michigan, who I was talking to about it. He had no idea anything about the machine, and he was telling me that he had some hip pain at night, and that 4 or 5 times a night it was waking him up. He couldn't sleep. He wasn't getting proper sleep because of his hip pain. And so I said, well, why don't I send you an Everson and try it and see what happens? Well, within like 4 days, he's like, I'm sleeping all night and I have no hip pain. And by the way, I didn't even realize I had knee and shoulder pain, and that's gone too. And he bought his own machine. So, it's pretty profound, the impact that it has. Interestingly enough, he's in the real estate business, and he had a real estate agent who he's done work with over many, many years. And both he and his wife were having some pain and joint issues. And so he when he went ahead and got his own machine, when it came in, he said, do you mind if I pass this on to them to try? I said, sure, go ahead. And so it was Saturday morning, he gave it to them, and I called them Sunday just to, check in. How are you doing with it? Any questions? And that was Sunday afternoon. And the woman was just like, well, I don't believe this. And I'm not sure what age they are, but she said, when my husband and I go out somewhere, when we get back home, I kind of get out of the car and I have to straighten my legs out and my back. And, it's like, she said, we both just kind of hobble into the house. And she said, we just got this thing yesterday morning, and we went on a long trip today and got back home. And she said, I was shocked. She said, we both just got out of the car and walked in the house like normal people. And that was like, she had it less than 24 hours. So it was pretty cool to hear that kind of report happening. It's a pretty amazing device. So I'll check in with George and see how he's doing with it.
Yeah. That would be really
cool.
Great if you could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that.
I loved hearing those stories. Yeah. I love this. I love that we get to live like true human beings.
It's pretty amazing. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Most people, the changes they note are subtle, but, as with what I just shared, pretty significant. I mean, being able to sleep through the night without becoming aware of hip pain 4 or 5 times and being disturbed that many times through the night means a significant shift in sleep patterns. And that's that can be, life-saving, in fact. A lot of people, who don't get a proper amount of sleep, the brain doesn't detox properly, and it's literally life-shortening. So it can make quite a difference.
Right. And, coupled with this work, the forgiveness, the Aramaic forgiveness work, where, one of the most critical turning points for me in this work was when I realized that my thoughts weren't necessarily my own, and that I wasn't as bad as I thought I was, because I must be bad because of the thoughts and the things that were wrong, what I'd been told, right? So
right.
When I learned I could cancel those goals, because I actually ended up subscribing to them because they were just put on me, and so I survived that way, that allows me to just think of myself lovingly and with respect, instead of trying to overcompensate or hide all the things that I think are wrong with me, and not wanting people to see that. And when I can let myself see it and take responsibility for what I'm seeing, and then have the notion or the idea or the truth that might not be who I really am, that I think I'm seeing, that I've been told that I am. That's
right.
just so wonderful to be able to, self-service myself and be empowered again with who I really am in the life I get to design. So
exactly.
That's a critical turning point. It really is for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The other thing that I've been seeing, Yeah. The other thing that I, after working with this device for the last 11 months or so, is I'm realizing that it is actually physical forgiveness. The energy that it moves through physiology is literally the removal of those patterns subtly on an energetic level. So it's like a physical form of forgiveness that augments the mental and emotional work that we're talking about doing. So together, things move on a more whole and more complete basis. So
yeah,
I understand what you're saying fully.
When we're really ready to do the forgiveness work on all the levels, then along comes this amazing invention that helps remove the physiology that, has been broken down and ready for removal.
Precisely.
That's so great.
Precisely. I'm with you 100%.
Yes, we are with and of.
All right, young lady.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you have a blessed one. Lots of love. All right.
Good
Bye-bye.
luck with all your activities and happy anniversary.
Okay.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And Julie, as far as your the pollen stuff that's going on, be sure to get you some lemon water, cayenne pepper with maple syrup in it, and sip on that, and also oregano oil. And you don't want to take it the way the bottle says. You want to put water in the back of your mouth and drop it straight into the water and swallow so it doesn't touch the surfaces of your mouth because it's pretty hot. But that helps clear it up pretty fast.
For sure. Yeah, if you're going to use oregano oil, just to be a little more precise about it, put water in the back of your throat, like, put your head up and like you're going to gargle, and then drop the oregano oil into the water in the back of your throat and immediately swallow. And then the oregano oil doesn't come in contact with the skin surfaces throughout your mouth and create that burning sensation that oregano oil can do, because it's pretty powerful. It's pretty strong stuff. And there's a particular oregano oil product. I'm not remembering offhand the name of the company that manufactures it, but it's called, they carry it on Amazon. It's called P73. See, I've got a bottle of it here, and it is Herb and Spice Company. The Herb and Spice Company, P73. Pretty amazing stuff. They've done some double-blind research with it, and in many cases, it's more profoundly impactful than antibiotics. It doesn't have the side effects of your average antibiotic, but it's antiviral, antifungal, antibacterial. So pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, there are some oregano oils that are like essence of oils, like that you would put in diffusers or something like that, or for external use. You want to make sure it's an internal use oregano oil.
Yeah, there is one other brand that we bought that's really heavy duty to take, right, honey?
Yes, it is.
We've actually got a few bottles of that, and before we use it, we cut it with olive oil because it's so strong. But that P73 is really a perfect balance. So we're down to about 3 minutes.
2 minutes.
If you're out there, 2 minutes. If you're out there in listener land, what's on your mind? How can we support you? 2 minute conversation wouldn't take us very far, would it? So let me just offer that, as the subject of the Avacen was brought up, it's a device that it's about the size of a bread box. You put your hand in it, and what happens is a cuff seals around your hand, creates a vacuum around your hand, and causes the blood vessels in the hand to distend. Your hand is on a heating plate, and so basically, with those blood vessels distended, there's a heat exchange from the palm of the hand, and it just literally pours heat into the bloodstream, warms the blood throughout the whole body, which causes muscle relaxation. It's actually a Class 2 medical device, so the FDA says, yes, you can make the medical claim that this creates relaxation and handles pain. So, and Europe, it's actually approved, not here, but in Europe and in Canada, it's approved for fibromyalgia treatment. So pretty profound little device. And so we happen to, it's one of the ways we support the work is we happen to distribute that device. So if anybody's interested, touch in, drop Jeannie an email. I'll touch back in with you and give you more information if you're interested. In the meantime, create the best year yet of your eternal life. It's an awesome gift to give the world. Blessings.